The search for a town manager and a big event tonight on this episode of Barnstable Today. I'm Sarah Colvin. It's Thursday, January 12th, 2012. To start school before Labor Day or to start after Labor Day, that is the question on the town's virtual town hall site, Barnstable iForum. You can vote in our first online poll at any time simply by heading to barnstableiforum.com. Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Chakowski is seeking input as she works with the school committee to craft the calendar for the next school year. Share your thoughts and voice your opinion online at barnstableiforum.com. Acting Town Manager Tom Lynch will be leaving the town through March, but what happens after that time is still unknown. Many are asking for a progress report from the Town Council. We spoke with Town Council President Fred Chirigotis on today's edition of Barnstable this morning. Fred says a search committee may soon be formed.
Obviously, the most important thing I think that the Town Council does is puts in place a good town manager. And we had a great town manager for a number of years, and now the question becomes, I guess, twofold. Number one, what's John Klim's intentions? And I've had conversations with him over the, since, I'd say, since at least June, if not before, about what his intentions were. And we need to know whether or not he has an interest in returning to the town. And then we need to know whether or not the town has an interest in retaining him. And that would be through a majority of the councilors. And I haven't told the council. We haven't talked about that. I know that there's great interest in knowing what is the position of the town with regard to John Klim, and I guess the other part of that is what's John Klim's interest with regard to the town. So that's one side of it. Once that question's determined, we can go in one or two directions. But if we were to be looking for a new town manager, we really need to know. We really need to do all of the work that is necessary to have the best person for the town of Barnstable. And a number of towns across the state have been working diligently and very hard at the process of interviewing candidates for town managers. And I won't name the towns, but there are many who have gone through the process, interviewed any number of candidates, and then when they get to the bottom, to their finalists, they start all over again. So we don't want to go through a hamster wheel of looking for people. We want to be able to find the right town manager. What I can say is there's a policy in the town of Barnstable, always has been with regard to employment, that we look in-house before we look outside. We have a number of very good people right here in the town of Barnstable right now who are available and hopefully would be available to assume the position of town manager, both within town government and outside of town government. But we don't have to look very far to find really good people. The question is can we get a consensus and agree that on who would be the next town manager.
Right, Fred, and I know obviously, as you said, you want to ensure that you choose the right person, whether they come from inside the building, whether they are not inside the building at this time but have been in the past, or whether they're outside the building. It definitely does take some time. So in terms of time frame, are you, as you said, are you waiting to answer the John Klim question before moving forward?
Well, I think we're moving forward, and the John Klim question will be, I'm sure, will be discussed and will be answered. I mean, sometimes things are easy to do and sometimes they're not. I guess what will happen is we'll have a committee and they'll make a decision one way or another. And the council will make a vote, and that vote may include John Klim. And I don't know what would happen. But the difficulty is telling somebody who you're taking to the prom without asking her. I think you can be embarrassed when you do that. So we need to make sure that it's a reciprocal consideration, that both sides are on the same page. So I really would like to have to know where John is and how he's feeling, and I understand everybody understands what the last year was like, and can we heal all the wounds and move forward or not?
Barnstable residents have until February 1st to file abatement requests for the fiscal 2012 actual tax bills. For abatement or exemption forms and information, head to the town's website at town.barnstable.ma.us and click through to the assessing department. And also, don't forget to return your census forms. If you do not return those forms, you will be removed from the active voter list. Contact the town clerk's office for further information. An inspirational talk tonight at Barnstable High School. Fall River native and former professional basketball player Chris Herron, who once played for the Boston Celtics, will be speaking in the Performing Arts Center at Barnstable High. Herron rose to fame while battling an addiction to drugs and alcohol. We spoke with Chris on Monday's edition of Barnstable This Morning. And, reading your book, and I've seen the ESPN documentary Unguarded, which many people say is very compelling. And it's just amazing to see, you kind of rise from a high school star at Durfee and then go on to college basketball fame and professional basketball fame at the same time with a wife and family, and also with this substance abuse issue. And I know you tried to stop several times, but of course that's easier said than done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people along the way, who there's fallout in addiction. There's a lot of people who suffered because of me and because of my addiction, like my wife, like my children, like my family and friends, and etc. And there were times I tried to stop, and there were times I told myself that I could overcome this, and I could manage it, and I could juggle it, and it was just all lies and part of the disease. And it wasn't until I surrendered and went away and got opportunities like going to the Miller House and places like that, who gave me time to heal and to recover.
Exactly, and I know you had tried, as you said, tried to stop on your own and gone through a couple of different rehab programs. What was it that finally did it for you, that allowed you to finally make it through and battle with the problem?
I think I was just willing to put the work in, and like I said, the places like the Miller House, like Daytop, that I had gone to, gave me an opportunity to get my life back. And that's how I had to look at it. And, it's not a place to just sit there and take a little break. It's a place where you can, heal and recover and put the work in. And, I look back, and that's why it's important for me to go to Barnstable High School. That's why it's important for me that I work for Gosnold, because that area, the Cape itself and Gosnold is one of the reasons why I'm at that today, for giving me the opportunity to get well.
Absolutely, and of course, we hear a lot in the news about our, here on Cape Cod with our seasonal economy, and things can get difficult, and for reasons that may be unexplainable, we do have a high number of substance abuse and alcohol problems here in our region. So having someone like you come in and to be able to share your message with the kids at a young point is really crucial to, as we, as a community, try and solve the issue. So talk to me, Chris, about why it's important for you now to share your story with the public, and especially with youngsters here in New England.
Just traveling around and starting this about 2 years ago, seeing the feedback that I was getting from students, whether it be in high school or college, it was just an amazing feeling for me. It gave kids an opportunity to trust somebody and gave them a voice. And the emails that I've received have been life-changing.
Tonight's presentation begins at 6:30 p.m. in the Performing Arts Center at Barnstable High School. The event is sponsored by the Gosnold Treatment Center and is free of charge. Well, if you haven't yet received a flu shot, you've got one more chance from the town of Barnstable's health department to do so. The final flu clinic of the season takes place next week. Flu shots are available to Barnstable residents for $3 apiece. The clinic is being held at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center Tuesday, January 17th from 2 to 4 p.m. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.